We are tackling a big question today. Can what we eat really impact our cancer risk? There is a lot of talk around food and cancer. Depending on who you talk to, people seem to think the answer is either starving ourselves, eating nothing but meat, slashing our carbs, green juice cleanses, or just eating our cheese fries and crap and let the cards fall where they may. But let's break down what the science actually says and how to make it work in real life. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met, I'm Rachel, two-time cancer survivor with a simple goal, helping you live your healthiest, happiest life by sharing what I've learned and keep learning along the way. So if that sounds like your kind of vibe, hit that subscribe button and give me a follow. Now, before we go any further, just a little reminder. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on YouTube. I'm just sharing what I have learned from my own journey and a little bit of common sense. You've probably heard all sorts of extreme takes on diet and cancer. Some people say food is the cure, while others say it doesn't matter at all. The truth? Well, it's actually somewhere in the middle. No, you don't have to live on kale smoothies and chia seeds alone to prevent cancer, but there is evidence that what we eat plays a role. So, how does food play a role in cancer? Well, it boils down to two main areas: inflammation and cell damage. Diets high in ultra-processed foods, sugars, and unhealthy fats can lead to chronic inflammation. Over time, that kind of constant stress on the body increases our risk for several diseases, including cancer. One of the most interesting areas of research is how our gut health, meaning the balance of bacteria in our digestive system, affects our cancer risks. Studies show that a healthy gut microbiome can actually reduce inflammation and support and boost our immune system, both of which are key to lowering cancer risk. This is where fiber comes in. Fiber acts like food for the good bacteria in our gut, helping them thrive. Diets high in fiber have been shown to reduce the risk of certain cancers, including colorectal cancer, by supporting a healthy gut and reducing inflammation. It's like giving your body an internal defense system. Fiber is your gut's best friend. It's the one who doesn't ghost you on a bad day, It's always there. It keeps things moving and it sweeps out the junk that doesn't belong. Insulin resistance is another factor that's gaining a lot of attention. When we eat a diet high in sugar and ultra-processed foods, it can lead to insulin resistance, which is when our cells don't respond to insulin as well as they should. Over time, again, this leads to chronic inflammation and higher levels of insulin-like growth factor, both of which have been linked to increased cancer risk. Essentially, insulin resistant keeps our blood sugar levels higher, which can lead to chronic inflammation, and some studies suggest that it could help fuel a lot of cancers. Basically, insulin resistance is that roommate who continually invites over all the wrong people. Your cells can't get a break, and the whole place ends up a bit of a mess. Studies, including one from the Journal of the National Cancer Institute, show that managing insulin resistance through a healthy diet may help reduce those risks. Now, personally, I don't think it matters which way of eating you choose, as long as it works for you and is sustainable. The most important thing is to eat whole, minimally processed foods that feed your gut microbiome, supply plenty of vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, and help fight insulin resistance. Find what you can stick with, because consistency is your primary goal. On the flip side of that, studies are finding that ultra-processed foods, things like packaged snacks, sugary cereals, and processed meats, are linked to a higher risk of cancer. In fact, a large-scale study published in the British Medical Journal found that every 10% increase in the amount of ultra-processed food in a person's diet was linked to a 12% higher risk of cancer. Why is that? Well, ultra-processed foods are loaded with added sugars, unhealthy fats, and preservatives that can disrupt our gut bacteria. Again, increase that inflammation and contribute to obesity, each of which is a risk factor for cancer. Plus, these foods lack fiber, which is essential for our gut health. Ultra-processed foods are basically food imposters. Sure, they look good on a shelf, they taste good, but inside they are full of sneaky additives that are bad news for our bodies. It's like hanging out with your frenemy all the time. They are here for a good time. They look good, but trust me, they will bail on you as soon as you need them the most. So let's talk about specific diets. Now, I have personally tried virtually all of them. Keto, paleo, vegan, you name it. And I eventually settled on the Mediterranean diet for myself. The Mediterranean diet has a lot of science-backed benefits when it comes to cancer. Studies like one published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology have shown that this diet's emphasis on whole grains, healthy fats, and fiber-rich foods can, surprise, surprise, help reduce inflammation and may lower the risk of cancer and cancer recurrence, particularly for certain types like breast cancer. It's also a very flexible way of eating that includes lean proteins, lots of vegetables, and heart-healthy fats, which makes it sustainable. Then there's keto and other low-carb diets, which some people try as a cancer-fighting approach. Now, research is mixed here, but some studies suggest that lower carb diets may have potential benefits for certain cancers, since cancer cells often thrive on glucose. But it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. And the extreme restrictions of keto can be tough to maintain for a lot of people. One thing that's clear, though, is that by focusing on whole, real foods, you are automatically eating fewer carbs than if you're eating ultra-processed foods. Without the refined sugars and starches found in those foods, you're already substantially lowering your carb intake in a healthier, more balanced way. For me personally, I tried the keto diet, and let's just say that my love of potatoes won out. Then there's the paleo diet, which emphasizes whole foods and cuts out grains, dairies, and most processed items. It also has potential benefits. Research on paleo and cancer specifically is limited, but by reducing ultra-processed foods and focusing on nutrient-rich ones, this diet can help lower inflammation, which may contribute to reducing cancer risk. Then there's the vegan diet, which has shown benefits too. Research, including a study from JAMA Internal Medicine, suggests that a plant-based diet can lower cancer risk by reducing red and processed meat intake, both of which have been linked to certain cancers. Plus, a well-balanced, and let me emphasize well-balanced, vegan diet can be high in fiber, which, as we talked about, is fantastic for gut health and lowering cancer risk. Now, I know some of you may have heard about or follow the carnivore diet, which is essentially the polar opposite of vegan. It is all animal products and no plants. While there's limited research on its long-term effects, especially in relation to cancer, the lack of fiber and plant nutrients is a really big concern for me personally, as both of them are known to support gut health and reduce inflammation. So it's one that I haven't tried, and I really have no desire to. However, some followers report benefits like reduced inflammation, but we don't have solid data on how it might impact cancer risk over time. If you're curious about this diet, it's really important to do your own research and consult with a healthcare provider, especially when it comes to cutting out entire food groups. Look, the world of diets is like a theme park, Everywhere you turn, there's a new ride, but only a few are really worth going on more than once. You just need to pick your favorites and choose which ones make sense for you. After all these wild rides, I found, again, the Mediterranean approach is the most sustainable and balanced for me. It gives me variety without strict restrictions, and it naturally emphasizes whole foods, which is key for anyone focused on long-term health and cancer. Here's the good news, though. You don't need to make drastic changes overnight. Small, sustainable shifts can have a huge impact over time. And let me say it now, and I will keep harping on this all the time until everyone believes me. We can do so much for ourselves by improving our diets. It's one of the simplest ways to tip the scales in our favor, literally and figuratively. Diet alone isn't everything, but it is a powerful place to start that makes a real difference. So, where can we start? Well, first, opt for whole grains over processed carbs. Think whole wheat bread or even sourdough instead of white. Then quinoa, brown rice. Next, add color to every meal. Fill your plate with colorful fruits and veggies. The more variety, the better. Then prioritize fiber-rich foods. Include foods like oats, lentils, beans, seeds, fruits, and vegetables in your meals. These fiber-rich options not only support gut health, but they may lower cancer risk by reducing inflammation and helping the body eliminate toxins. If you don't know where to start, just add an extra serving of veggies to your dinner tonight. It is a simple step, but over time, these little choices make a big difference. Add spinach or riced cauliflower to your smoothies. I promise you will not even taste it. Now, let's be real for a second. Again, we need to keep in mind, diet is just one component of reducing our cancer risk, albeit, I believe, a big one. A healthy lifestyle is multifaceted. Other factors include regular exercise, maintaining a healthy weight, managing stress, getting enough sleep, and minimizing exposure to environmental toxins. It is all about making consistent choices that support our body in different ways. Think of it as building a health buffet. You don't need to load up on one thing to the exclusion of others. It's about variety, and it all works together to keep you feeling your best. For me, I noticed a huge difference in my energy, my strength, and my overall health when I started focusing on whole, minimally processed foods. And even if diet alone cannot prevent cancer, it can help us feel our best and reduce our risk. And that is totally worth something. It's all about tipping the scales in our favor, again, literally and figuratively. The more little changes we make, the closer we come to living well, feeling well, and yes, lowering our cancer risk. So, does diet really affect cancer risk? I'd say yes, and more research is saying the same thing. It's part of a bigger picture, and every step we take towards a healthier lifestyle adds up. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on simple, realistic health changes you can make. Thanks for watching. As always, take care of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.